We're all gonna get laid.
You're doing it. I ain't touching it. Nope. Here. I ain't touching it. Nope. Here. Nope. Good try.
All right, guys. Good morning, golfing world. Welcome, TGD Today. It's the roundtable with George and Hugh. And I got to start today off, Hugh. By the way, good morning.
Good morning.
I got to start the day off, of course, with our thoughts and prayers for Brother Al.
Yes.
Who is up at Duke as we speak. Yesterday afternoon, he was put into surgery, removing some cancer from one of his lungs.
Yes.
So
we've all wished him the best. We sent text to him yesterday morning. He sent them back, said thanks. He's supposed to go in at 12:30, and I think you told me they didn't take him in until about 4:30.
Yep,
so
yep.
hopefully things went well and we can get our boy back. It's going to take him 4 to 6 weeks to recover, but as long as he's healthy, that's all we're worried about.
Well, we can prop him up right there. I mean, that's not a big deal. I'll put a popsicle stick up his back or something. We'll prop him up.
We'll get him right.
Yeah. So, Al, if you're listening in, I hope you are catching up. We're with you there, brother. Just let us know if you need anything. So, moving on, roundtable. Let's do some catch-up. First off, we mentioned last week, folks, and we want to give you an update. I am playing against Hugh Roy III this weekend at the Low Country Open out at Shaftesbury. Is that right?
Shaftesbury Glen, yes.
Yeah, be nice if I even could figure out what golf course we're playing. I haven't had time to get ready, dude.
I haven't either.
I may need more shots.
Spot died. They got a big monument out there on the back of the first tee for you.
Really?
Yeah, Spot died.
Okay. You really you don't want to just step up and be a man and just say, George, I understand your situation and
Jeff, let me ask you a question.
Here's another
and
five.
I'm going to Jeff behind the glass. Our
There's
producer.
no reason to go to Jeff. Jeff, he doesn't even have his headphones
Who
on.
plays more golf?
The Godfather there. If he plays less than 3 days a week,
don't give me that.
There's something wrong.
Don't give me
okay,
that.
the dude is. I mean, he plays more than he tells us about.
I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, he's a workaholic. That's for sure. But he's on the golf course 3 to 5 days a week.
Last time I played was the thing at Arrowhead about a month ago.
Yep.
You know what? Both of you. Both of you. Get some lotion and go home and take care of this problem. Jiminy Christmas.
But I can promise you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm getting old. I got a muscle that's
here
pulling
we
in my
go.
back. I'm going to
Here we
pour them
go.
out.
See,
but I'm not scared.
Y'all don't make me bring
was
Professor Weldon in on this.
I was
okay?
waiting on you to give him the, turn yourself upside down, empty your pockets out, and let's go for it.
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
He can
thing.
stand on his head and shake his pockets. We can play for whatever falls out. But
Yeah.
the beauty of it is he's got a partner that plays as much as he does. So,
More.
Look.
I know.
You mentioned his name. Here
I
he is.
see who's hovering.
Yeah.
We're playing against each other this weekend at the Low Country Open.
I've got to give him 10 shots a day.
Hey, Professor, what's your fantasy picks on that?
You want 10 per day. 10 a day.
Professor,
But you
says he's
forget
gonna-
now, my father did give me one thing before he died. He gave me the ratchet jaw talent. I can get into George's head, trust me.
Really? Yeah.
When the radio comes on,
He's gonna get into the Godfather's head.
oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, he's not my partner.
No,
He's
no,
playing,
no.
But we're playing the same group. Yeah.
We're in the same group
Yeah.
Saturday.
Saturday.
And then I'm playing with Charlie Moore.
And I'm playing with Mr. Causey.
He's so political.
Yeah, because he knows
He
you'll
said
have the
he's-
pencil on the eraser on Sunday.
I tell you what, I don't need the pencil and the eraser. How about that? I posted a number, and actually the boys over at Possum Trot actually jumped in on a pool. They developed a pool to see. I laid a number out there, and I said, okay, y'all take the bets now, over or under. And I put my number at 160.
It was 158, wasn't it, Jeff?
No, 160.
I think he's already began the fudge.
The
The fudge.
The poor mouth is just keeps getting worse.
Began,
All right,
the
Low
fudge has
Country
started.
Open. There's an open division, in a champions division or a seniors division, I guess is how it's being referred to.
Well, I get AARP. I ought to be able to be in the
You don't,
seniors.
yeah, you got AARP, all right. And I told you they got pills for that. So, the point is, I understand now this week I have learned from the tournament director that because you are a professional and below the age of 55, that you're playing the tips.
And that's supposed to scare me.
And I'm
out.
playing the seniors. So I'll be on the greens.
Look, don't let him fool you. He might look like a senior, but he's still not there yet. Okay, and he's got.
I'm 55, folks.
and he's got a handful of gin cards and fake IDs now to go with it.
That's right. That's right.
I just want
and proud of it.
I just want to get my buddy that's a cop to come out there and frisk him just to make sure the balls aren't hidden in places in his pants where he can just go dropping.
Just checking, mate.
Got the. Yeah, you got to check them every once in a while, dude. Get to be my age, you don't know if they're still there or not.
Well, that's a personal issue.
Yeah.
But
looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a practice round Friday.
Yep.
You and I, Mr. Causey, and Mr. Moore.
Yep. And my son Bray's coming into town, so he's going to kind of hang out with us and caddy. And
oh, is he going to caddy?
Yeah, I'm going to get him to come out and caddy. And
who can I get to caddy? I wonder if one of our viewers or listeners would want to come out and caddy for the Godfather. That may be worth something.
It might be.
Huh.
Could be interesting.
I'll even get rid of that big-ass staff bag I got.
I was going to say, folks, the bag weighs 150
Oh,
pounds.
yeah, it does. I'll agree with you on that one. It's a heavy dude. But I'll put it in a carry bag. And
Sure.
So, but Shasberry, fun course to play, part of the Glens group. So I always enjoy going out there. I hear we're going to get a little rain. 40% chance on tomorrow.
It's not as tomorrow's the day. I think the weekend it's only at 20, so I think we're pretty safe for Saturday and Sunday. What it looks like.
Yeah, but Shasberry gets wet.
It does. It's west of the waterway, so they say there's chances of pop up showers.
You know the saying, don't you? If they spill a soda in the clubhouse, it goes CPO for a week.
Yeah.
So, cart path only, folks. In case you didn't pick up on that acronym. So. And that's after spilling a soda in the clubhouse. Did you get that? Mm-hmm. I didn't hear a laugh. That's why I was wondering that. I kind of repeated it. So.
Yeah.
Okay, bud. So we got that coming up this weekend. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to reporting on that Monday for the Monday morning golf wrap.
Yes, sir.
If I'm still alive. So,
Well, I'll tell you, George, we talked about it earlier.
20 pops. 10 per day. I just not sure that that's enough. I don't know.
Yeah, play better.
Yeah, that's what you always say. So you got an interesting phone call yesterday.
I did, and
Why don't you tell us about it?
I tell you, folks, this is something that you hear George and I talk about my father a good bit and call him legend. And I had a good friend that he caddies at Augusta, and then in the summertime he goes up to Latrobe and caddies up at Mr. Palmer's golf course up there. And Tommy left my card and phone number and asked Mr. Palmer to give me a call that I needed to talk to him. And Mr. Palmer called yesterday, and we talked for, I don't know, probably 10, 15, 18 minutes. And he didn't know my father had passed away. And the stories and just talking, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And I can't tell you how much of a gentleman that man is, and it was just a thrill of a lifetime. And I've met him and known him my whole life, but for him to call and to give his sympathies and to ask how everybody else was doing was something that was pretty cool. And to post something on Facebook at about 11 o'clock in the morning, and then by 10 o'clock last night there were 300 and I want to say 30-something likes, and I probably had 50 or 60 comments from people all over the world.
And you were able to reminisce with Mr. Palmer too, weren't you?
Oh, yes. We talked about the time Daddy got him to come to the Southern Open at Green Island Hills in Columbus, Georgia, where I'm from. And I was caddying for my dad, and Daddy sent me to the car. And I went to the car to get something for him. And Mr. Palmer said, "Come here, Hugh." He says, "I need you to help me do something." And after every round, Mr. Palmer would redo his leather grips. He would take the leather off and put new leather on. And basically taught me how to put leather grips on golf clubs back in the day,
Isn't that
which
crazy?
is nothing that's done
Wow.
these days. But
No.
sat there for a good hour and a half. My dad comes looking for me, like, "Where have you been?" And he saw me
Right.
sitting with Mr. Palmer and didn't say anything else. And we talked about my rookie year on tour in '96. I was at Pebble Beach, and you hit balls on the polo field, and they've got the big tent. And I turned around to give my 7-iron to my caddy, Red Whitlock, and Red looked like he had seen an absolute ghost. And I wanted to say, "What's wrong?" And when I did, I noticed Mr. Palmer was leaning on my driver, and he looked at me and he goes, "Little Hugh, about time you got out here. How's it going? How's your mom? How's your dad?" I'm just telling you, folks, that man is he's class, and you don't see that much nowadays, and it's just really, really nice to be able to talk about a legend like that. And I was fortunate with my dad to meet Gary Player, and I used to stay with him in South Africa, and his son Wayne and I are good friends. Mr. Nicholas, Mr. Trevino. I mean, it's amazing the people that I got to meet growing up, and for that man to take the time to call and to
Right.
check it meant the world to me, and I can't thank him enough.
And just another statement that Mr. Palmer is the king.
He is the king, and he will always be the king, and I don't care who does what. That man, there's nothing like someone that goes out of their way, and I, we talked about it yesterday. He gets there in the morning and he signs everything that is sent to him, and it goes out, and he does not ignore one person's request. And for a man at his age to sit there and do that just tells you the kind of person that he is.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that yesterday was one of those earmarked days in your life.
It was.
So,
It was.
yeah.
And when I called Heather and told her, I said, "Guess who I just got off the phone with?" And she goes, "Who?" I said, "Mr. Palmer." She goes, "Mr. Palmer?" I said, "Yeah, the Mr. Palmer." She goes, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was something really cool, and it's nice to know that your dad made an impression on someone, and they were friends, and my mom and Miss Winnie when she was alive, and Mr. Palmer and my dad, they were close, and so it was really cool for me.
Well, legend made an impression on a lot of people, including myself. So he is missed, but he's not forgotten.
Oh no, he's
So-
sitting up there laughing and looking.
Yeah,
at us
he's
going,
getting a
"Yeah,
kick
y'all
out of it."
making a big thing out of nothing." So I know my
yeah.
dad.
Go to the Waffle House.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, go get a cup of coffee and some scatters. Jimmy Biggs. God, he looks good, doesn't he?
Yep.
He would almost push me over the edge to becoming a Keegan Bradley.
We just got to get
I
him.
threw that out there.
We just got to get him to make the cut.
That's true. That's true. He played well. All right. Yeah, there are storylines coming from that little tournament over the last couple of days that I would love to mention one particular PGA professional from the local area that played in it, but I have a feeling it would leak out. He's probably listening in right now, and so I just don't want to go there. But one of the friends of the show at a South End course, I'll say, ended up walking off the golf course yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, so he was 15 over after 12
That's not good.
and was on the fourth hole and at Grand Dunes, the resort course, and put 3 into the hazard and basically took his clubs and chunked them into the hazard likewise and just walked in. So, folks, proof pudding that PGA professionals
Have a temper too.
have the same emotion and drive that we all do as amateurs in this game we know and love. So, but I didn't mention any names, didn't mention any golf courses, so I'm sure several people will be wondering who I'm talking about, but I'll get asked later, and I still won't tell.
They'll just have to look into the newspaper or wherever and
It
find
won't be
out.
in the newspaper. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. So, interestingly, they came out today with the approximate yardage that we're going to be playing Whistling Straits at for the PGA Championship in about 14 days. 7,515 yards.
Good thing you and I aren't playing. We'd have to ask to play through.
Holy crap.
That's long, dude. 7,500 is a long way.
Are they able to charge a cart that'll actually go that distance?
I don't know.
75-15. That's big, dude. Now, granted, it's Wisconsin. No humidity, basically. But, yeah, and the course is going to play firm. I hope it plays firm.
If they get any rain, it's going to be impossible.
Well, it won't be impossible in the fact that those greens, if the greens soften up and allow them to come in with the longer irons, then yes. They could go low on that thing if it softens up.
If it softens, they could, yes, absolutely.
They could go low. But what I'd like to see is it get firm and fast to where they have to plan for that 15, 20-foot bounce when they hit a green. And then, like Chambers Bay, let's watch them play golf.
Yeah.
Let's get them get creative. I'd rather see them, instead of ever throwing everything high and they're able to, like a Dustin Johnson, able to fly at a 7-iron 230 yards.
Yeah.
Get creative.
Or you're going to have an imagination if it gets like that, because when greens get firm on tour, which folks, they love to do that. They love to make it to where, you hit shots in there and the ball's bouncing 10 to 12 feet, and it's more of you've got to have a game plan and you've got to understand what the shots you've got to play to get it in there. And you're not going to be shooting at pins all the time.
Well, I found the yardage to be interesting. I kind of figured they would be around the 7,300 mark. But 75-15, that's a lot of golf course. I don't know. I can only imagine now when they start converting back to for the next couple of years cycles to where they start going to the older, more traditional golf courses, the layouts per se, Brooklines, the
wing
foots, whatever it may be. Then they can play them at 7,000 to 7,200, but yet you got higher roughs, you got tighter fairways, you've got softer conditions, you've got smaller greens. So.
And that's what I miss with majors now, George, is the fact you just over the past probably 4 to 5 years, you don't see the rough like we used to see.
No, you don't.
U.S. Opens, whatever. I mean,
last year was case in point. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you like to see that
Marion, everybody anticipated Marion with the postage stamp greens and the push-up greens and the elevations and things of that sort. Everybody expected Marion, and players like Justin Rose just took it to his knees.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like it got soft. They could go out there and throw darts. They didn't have to worry about rogue bouncing. They didn't have to worry about, undulations in the greens, too much spin, whatever. They just threw darts and the ball embedded and boom. It kind of took a historical golf course and just reduced it to it could have been any other golf course in the world.
Yeah.
You understand?
I agree 100%, and that's why you look at the when David Graham won there. The golf course played hard and fast. The greens were firm. They had rough that was 4 to 6 inches deep.
Right.
That's what I remember U.S. Opens being. You look at Baltusrol when Nicklaus won. He beat Aoki, and then Lee Janzen and all. You had to hit fairways. It's almost like now fairways. It doesn't matter.
But think about the major championships that we today talk about from 10, 12, 15 years ago past. What do we still talk about? Shinnecock.
Yeah.
The USGA let the greens get away from them. They totally lost it as far as firmness, as far as the greens were basically cut so short, they were dying right there in front of our eyes on television every day. Those greens were dying.
And you can't.
And they ended up going out. Remember, they were going out and spraying them. Yeah, they were spraying them between groups.
And my whole thing on that, and I'm not going to get into it today on the radio, but that's the problem with the USGA.
Yeah, and I wasn't.
And the R&A.
And I wasn't going there, and the fact that what I'm going there is like Chambers Bay. We've had all kind of follow-up with that, from the players to the USGA, Mike Davis, that whole group, to the amateurs that viewed and listened and watched and even attended. I thought it was so doggone refreshing, Hugh, to go to Chambers Bay. First off, we're in the Northwest. First time they've hosted a major.
And I love the fact they went there. The thing that bothers me, George, the golf course didn't bother me a bit the way it was. It was link style. It was done something similar to, you know, what you would see in Scotland. But I'm going to tell you what, George, for a national open, those were the worst greens I have ever seen in my life.
You know what? I supported them in our follow-up conversations. I agree with you.
It's awful.
It was a huge, huge, huge mistake by the USGA and by the Chambers Bay people. It was a huge mistake. However, everybody had to play on it. You saw certain guys like Louis Oosthuizen shoot 29. So some guys were making putts, other guys weren't.
Yeah, and people go to Vegas and roll dice every day.
That's
some
right.
people make money and some
people
don't.
are lucky and some people
that's
aren't.
What that was about. It
I
was
agree.
about luck. It
I
wasn't
agree.
about skill.
Well, in the shot making aspect, it was about
It was,
skill.
but putting it was not.
Yeah, because I still argue, and I had this argument yesterday with a gentleman from, I forget, he was from Pennsylvania or Ohio or something, but he was talking about greatest shots ever made and all that, and I brought up the two greatest shots that I've seen in quite some time. Of course, the Dustin Johnson drive and the Dustin Johnson approach shot on the 18th hole at Chambers Bay on the final day. Two spectacular shots. I mean,
And for what?
oh, well,
Nothing.
I didn't go into the three putt after that.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, you are handcuffed and you're just hoping something good happens.
Well, yeah.
And
but
that's-
my point is that we went to the Northwest, which I think it should be taken back to. I think it should be taken back to Chambers Bay. I fully and still anticipate that to be put on the schedule here soon. Where they get new greens probably. But that's not the point. The golf course played like an open championship should.
I thought it was very entertaining, no question about
Yeah.
it, because you could see guys, hitting tee shots and where they're playing from. If they missed a fairway, they were in a bunker that looked like from St. Andrews or Prestwick or somewhere like that. But the fact
And we
that,
have been, I mean, we saw it just a couple of weeks ago, too. They go back to the home of golf at St. Andrews, the old course, and, it doesn't have the length. It doesn't have the teeth unless the weather kicks in. Mm-hmm. You made the comment even alone. If the weather sets down a little bit, these guys will tear it up.
absolutely.
And we saw the first 2 days, Dustin Johnson tear it up. And then all of a sudden the wind picks up, the rain picks up a little bit, and he goes south hard.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a totally different animal.
But on Monday, our finish day, which we sat in here for several hours and broadcasted, he never came back. And again, it was not because of the weather, but because of ADD. But my point is, and I'm getting to this year, and I mentioned this earlier in the season, this year with Augusta, with Chambers Bay, with St. Andrews Old Course, and with Whistling Straits, we are being offered in the year 2015, I think, 4 of the better choices by the USGA, the PGA, and the PGA Tour, and the R&A. We are being offered 4 of the better golf courses that should host a major championship.
I agree with you 100%. I just think that, if you're gonna hold something with that kind of stature and that status, give them the best playing conditions, make it tough, grow rough, get the greens quick, whatever it is, and let them go play, and let's see who the best one that can manage and control those situations and give them an opportunity to win the golf tournament. Then you've got a true champion. I think a lot of times, with some of this stuff that goes on, it's luck.
Yeah.
And it's luck anyway when it's in perfect condition. But with some of the conditions we saw at Chambers Bay, it just – you don't see that at Augusta.
I could get into it. We could get into it. It's a shame. That they had to have that grass condition on those greens at Chamber a year before. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's not like this stuff happened just overnight. This pole just didn't pop up. Okay.
Well, I mean, it could. I mean,
and
you
a
don't know
year
what
back,
happens
but
in
what
the
I'm
winter.
saying is, a year back, they could have shaved down these greens. Back then, I just got informed by Mr. Buscheroni, president of East Coast Golf Management, you can't gas anymore. But they could have killed those greens and put in Mini Verde, Sunday, Tiff Dwarf, whatever.
Well, I mean, that stuff
And
won't
gave
grow in
them-
the Northwest anyway, but they could have done something different.
They could have done something different.
Yes. And, you know, plus with all the pre-emergence and the things that they put out, superintendents have access to put out to get golf courses in good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have been perfect. But, I mean, you know, why do you think everyone loves Augusta so much, George? Because it's perfect.
Yeah. And
People
it's right.
love it, and it's gorgeous. It's
And it's
green.
Ryan Grass.
It's perfect.
It's right.
You know, you look at most U.S. Open golf courses, when they go to Wingfoot, you know, or they go, you know, to all these different great golf courses in the Northeast. Yes, there's Poe, but you don't see the bouncing and the hopping and what we saw at Chambers Bay. I think the golf course itself is unique. It gives you a great and a different look at a U.S. Open compared to the old school.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they made a mistake when it came to the putting surfaces.
Right. Right. Well, we could go on and on and on. I wanted to get your opinion. Were you happy that Donald went over yesterday for the women at Turnberry? You know, he's running for president, so he felt like he may not have time to run over there, but he made a promise over a year ago, and I was hoping he'd keep the promise, that he would at least be there for the tournament. So he is over there now for the Women's British Open.
And that's good, because I tell you, Turnberry is one of my favorites. It's a gorgeous place. It is a gorgeous golf course.
And we're going to follow up on this on Pro Golf Talk Live, but the ladies are tearing it up.
They've got good weather.
They're tearing it up, dude. So I don't know if Mr. Trump's going to be happy with that or not, but, you know, no matter what he does, he's got my vote.
Well, let the girls play. You know, I mean, if they can shoot the scores, turn them loose.
Well, and they're doing it. They're turning them loose. 7 under is leading the doggone thing right now.
That's impressive.
After day one. So, anything else we need to cover, bud?
No.
We kind of got off several different directions.
We did. Just you know, make sure you've got your.
Do you need a pill tonight to sleep? I know you're going to be very high in anticipation and all that of playing a practice round tomorrow with me. So
no, I was just going to say, make sure you bring your nitro pills just in case you have a heart attack.
I've got the spray now.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need the pills.
We'll be good.
I got the spray.
Is it Deer Antler spray?
Yep. Thank you very much, VJ. Glad you made it to the booth.
I have some, actually.
Okay.
I do. I'm serious.
You know, if you remember when I covered this,
I'll let you try it.
I was talking about licking the antlers and all this,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I got fussed at. Okay.
This stuff actually tastes like deer antlers.
I would not
See,
know.
you would have to. Yeah, see, I could go there. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting The Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, much, much more. Need help with your next golf vacation? Just call Dave. Give us a call right here at The Golf Director at 844-GO-GOLF-1, 844-464-6531, and ask for Dave. You'll need to wake him up, so just ask for Dave. All of our TGD programming is archived listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, you can click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1
billion
devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and Myrtle Beach Golf app. For HR3, I'm George Honeycutt and Jeff behind the glass. We want to thank all of you for tuning in. There's a lot more golf news and information coming up next.